In a league defined by staggering wealth and lavish lifestyles, some of the biggest names cling to a shocking simplicity, a world away from the millions they command. It's a question that echoes in the shadows of their colossal bank accounts. Are these titans of the court secretly cheap? And the answer for some is a defiant yes, a calculated frugality they reserve for themselves. This is the story of NBA superstars, men of unimaginable fortune who choose to live like the rest of us, starting with the enigmatic Kawhi Leonard. His tale is perhaps the most iconic chapter in the league's quiet history of thrift. Leonard's bond with his 1997 Chevrolet Tahoe is nothing short of folklore, a testament to a man who guards his privacy as fiercely as he guards the basket. As of September 2025, his net worth towered at an estimated $120 million, a fortune built on landmark contracts and major endorsements. But his spending habits remained astonishingly grounded, and nothing illustrates his philosophy better than the saga of his beloved Tahoe, the gas guzzler. He purchased the truck as a teenager and refused to part with it, driving it long after securing a $94 million deal with the Spurs in 2015 and a $103 million contract with the Clippers in 2019. When pressed by ESPN in a 2016 feature, his logic was disarmingly simple. The truck still ran, and it was paid for a creed that defined his entire existence, not just his ride. During his tenure with the San Antonio Spurs, tales of his thriftiness became legend, as he reportedly chose to live in a modest two-bedroom apartment while his earnings soared into the millions. Yet the ultimate testament to his penny-pinching nature might just be found in his peculiar relationship with Wingstop. As a corporate sponsor for the wing empire, he was supplied with coupons for free wings, satisfying his well-known craving for their mango habanero flavor. In an incident that has since become NBA legend, a frantic Leonard once contacted the company in a panic after misplacing his precious coupon book, desperate for replacements. This intense focus on value is not a quirk. It's a philosophy forged in the crucible of a difficult childhood in Compton, California. He was raised in a blue-collar home by his father, Mark, a former football player who ran a car wash, and his mother, Kim Robertson, learning from a young age that true worth had nothing to do with possessions. But his entire world shattered on January 18, 2008, when his father was murdered at that same car wash, a brutal unsolved killing that forever changed a 16-year-old Kawhi's view of the world. Even amid recent financial storms, including claims of a $28 million no-show job connected to Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, Leonard's personal austerity has never wavered. With career earnings climbing past $325 million, he has appeared in 80% of games in just 4 seasons, a master of managing his load both on the court and in his bank account. Those who know him describe a man who is startlingly normal, down-to-earth and funny, a stark contrast to his on-court persona. This same spirit is found in another giant of the game, Giannis Antetokounmpo. When confronted with his own immense wealth, he deflects, but the numbers don't lie, a net worth estimated between $100 million and $250 million. Giannis Antetokounmpo has cemented his legacy as one of the most famously frugal titans in the league. His former teammate Drew Holiday didn't mince words, once calling him the cheapest guy he knew. And recent reports of the superstar haggling over prices in New York City discount stores confirm that a Supermax contract has done nothing to alter his core financial beliefs. In 2025, Forbes placed him as the 13th highest-paid athlete on the planet, with earnings of $94.4 million. That sum included $48.8 million on the court and another $45.6 million away from it. His massive contract guarantees escalating paychecks through the 2028-29 season, culminating in a player option worth a staggering $62.8 million. But the true measure of the man was seen in 2024 when he was spotted bargain hunting in New York, personally negotiating prices like any other shopper. He readily admits he is cheap when it comes to himself, a stark contrast to the immense generosity he shows to everyone else. The superstar has little interest in material possessions for status choosing, instead to save relentlessly to guarantee his family's future. This mindset was forged in the streets of Athens, Greece, where he was raised in abject poverty as the child of undocumented Nigerian immigrants. His parents, Charles and Veronica, had fled Nigeria in 1991 in search of a better life, only to face a relentless barrage of hardship-cramped living quarters evictions and crushing racism. Lacking Greek citizenship until 2013, the family lived under the constant, terrifying threat of being sent back. To survive, Giannis and his brothers Thanasis Kostas and Alex hustled on the streets selling trinkets to tourists. They frequently shared a single pair of shoes and whatever food they could find. Yet Giannis would later say that even with nothing, he felt rich simply by being with his family. Those desperate years instilled in him a profound belief that family bonds were infinitely more valuable than any material possession. He lives by a simple code he gives his family, everything saving his money, not for himself, but to invest in business. Now married to Mariah Riddlespringer since 2024 and a father of 3, his generosity flows outward to his loved ones while his personal spending remains minimal. He has purchased homes for his relatives and brought them to America, all while living a life of remarkable modesty himself. And he is not alone. Enter Jimmy Butler. Few journeys in the NBA are as powerful as Jimmy Butler's, a man who clawed his way from homelessness to a net worth between $80 million and $100 million. But the true marvel of his story isn't the wealth he's accumulated. It's his unwavering commitment to the humble, practical principles that define him. In 2025, Forbes documented his earnings at $59.8 million, with $48.8 million coming from the court and $11 million from endorsements, placing him among the league's financial elite. His career salary earnings had already surpassed $312 million by 2025, with projections set to rocket past $424 million by 2027. His latest massive contract extension with the Miami Heat guarantees him over $50 million a year. Yet one simple choice sets him completely apart from his peers. He chooses to drive a Toyota Sienna minivan, not because he must, but because for him, practicality will always trump prestige. That single decision reveals everything about Jimmy Butler's philosophy. Function will always triumph over flash. The humble minivan met his needs without the slightest hint of extravagance, a principle woven into the very fabric of his life. Butler's most notorious act of sharp-witted thriftiness unfolded inside the 2020 NBA bubble. There he audaciously billed his own teammates $20 a cup for coffee, brewed from his hotel room's French press, birthing the brand, now known as Big Face Coffee. He judged his brew a perfect 10 out of 10, joking that none of his fellow players could truly afford it anyway, so they shouldn't bother asking. What began as a clever side hustle has since exploded into a full-fledged business, with Big Face Coffee now boasting a Miami storefront featuring farm-sourced beans. He's even quipped about charging $60 a cup at home, proving his coffee shop mindset applies even to his millionaire friends. In another candid moment that went viral, cameras caught Jimmy fuming over the high cost of gasoline. He called it highway robbery, lamenting the price and desperately wishing he could get some of his money back. He even wondered aloud if he could trick the attendant into a refund by claiming he'd used the wrong type of fuel. This deep-seated frugality was forged in the fires of one of the most harrowing childhoods in professional sports. His father vanished when he was just an infant, and at the age of 13, his own mother cast him out onto the streets of Tomball, Texas. He was utterly alone and homeless, surviving by sleeping on friends' couches, until the Lambert family, despite already having 7 children, welcomed him into their home. These brutal experiences instilled in him an unshakable belief that security and family are worth infinitely more than any material wealth. He fiercely rejects excess at one point, cancelling his cable and internet services just to laser focus on training 3 times a day. His investments, from real estate to his stake in paddle tennis through the Deutsche Investment Group, are always driven by practicality and long-term vision, not risky speculation. Jrue Holiday. In a stunning announcement, Jrue Holiday and his family revealed they were pledging the remainder of his NBA salary to fuel the movement for social and economic justice. He felt that by donating his income, he could create a tangible benefit for Black communities in Los Angeles, New Orleans, and Indiana. Jrue Holiday commands a net worth of around $100 million. Yet his legacy is being defined by his incredible charitable giving, which distinguishes him as one of the league's most selfless superstars. Holiday's entire financial creed is built on leveraging his immense platform and wealth to forge profound social change. His NBA contracts alone are set to total over $250 million by 2025. Bolstered by his current 4-year $134.4 million extension with the Boston Celtics. That deal's value climbs each year through 2027 to 2028, culminating in a player option for a massive $37.2 million in his final season. But the single most defining aspect of Holiday's finances is his breathtaking generosity. In 2020, he donated his entire $5.3 million bubble salary to establish the Drew and Lauren Holiday Social Impact Fund, dedicated to supporting Black-owned businesses and nonprofits. He later gave another $4.6 million from his 2025 salary to convert Boston houses into shelters for homeless youth, an act that won him the NBA Social Justice Champion Award. Holiday's own modest lifestyle stands in stark relief against the scale of his charitable acts. He lives a simple life, channeling vast sums of his earnings into causes that uplift communities, proving that frugality can be a powerful engine for generosity. Holiday was born into a basketball dynasty in Chatsworth, California, raised by his parents Sean and Toya, with his father being a former college star. His siblings, including Justin, an NBA player, and his wife Lauren, a U.S. soccer icon, grew up in a home where athletic greatness and strong family bonds were paramount. Through their JLH fund, Drew and Lauren have distributed over $5.3 million in grants since 2020, targeting social justice initiatives, Black communities, and youth programs. He spoke of supporting historically Black colleges and universities, especially in New Orleans, and reaffirmed his commitment to giving back at the grassroots level. Kevin Durant. With a fortune estimated at $300 million, Kevin Durant reigns as one of the wealthiest players in the NBA. And yet, his way of life presents a stunning departure from the expected norms of celebrity extravagance. In spite of his immense fortune, Durant deliberately maintains a quiet, low-key existence built around simple passions and strategic investments. Durant's on-court earnings will reach a staggering $447 million. $853,045 by 2025, with projections soaring past $51 million by 2026. His current four-year, $194 million deal with the Phoenix Suns pays him more than $50 million a year, with another colossal extension on the horizon in 2025. But Durant's wealth is channeled into quiet pursuits, not flashy spectacles. He is a passionate gamer who streams on Twitch and invests heavily in esports, choosing virtual worlds over Hollywood's red carpets. This reclusive lifestyle isn't a manufactured image. It's an authentic reflection of his true character. Through his firm 35 Ventures, Durant has quietly built an investment empire, backing over 100 companies in the tech, sports, and media sectors. His portfolio is filled with shrewd moves, including an early stake in Coinbase that reaped massive rewards, along with investments in Whoop Fitness Technology, Robinhood, and SeatGeek. More recently, he's backed Spindrift Sparkling Water and acquired a piece of Paris Saint-Germain, a team valued at $4.6 billion. Durant's humble nature can be traced back to his difficult upbringing in Prince George's County, Maryland, where he and his single mother, Wanda Pratt, faced constant financial battles. They were always on the move, drifting through rough areas like Seat Pleasant and Landover, where a young Durant learned the value of a dollar by selling trinkets and sharing what little they had. Durant has largely remained focused on his own peace, keeping his relationships intensely private, despite recent links to Elizabeth Liz Cambage model. In a world of blinding fame and fleeting fortunes, some legends play a different game entirely. Carmelo Anthony's obsession with longevity is legendary, reflected in a disciplined routine that governs both his body and his empire. With a staggering net worth between $160 and $170 million as of September 2025, he stands as a titan among retired NBA giants. But it isn't the fortune that defines him. It's the survival instincts forged in the brutal streets of Baltimore's projects that still dictate his every move. His career brought in a colossal $262.5 million from NBA salaries alone, placing him in the highest echelon of earners from his era. His empire expands far beyond the court, with ventures like Mellow 7 Tech Partners diving into startups, the Sty 70 fashion line, and Creative 7 media production. He even commands the Seventh Estate wine brand, yet despite this vast portfolio, the man himself lives a life of shocking modesty. The most stunning testament to his mindset is a habit he refuses to break: clipping coupons. Even with fortunes secured, he meticulously cuts out coupons for groceries and navigates the aisles of discount stores. These are echoes of a past that hundreds of millions in earnings cannot silence. In a 2021 interview, he laid bare his philosophy: live below your means, a mantra confirmed by everyone who knows him. This ironclad discipline was hammered into him in the unforgiving environment of West Baltimore's Murphy Homes projects. Born to Carmelo Iriarte and Mary Anthony, tragedy struck early. His father was gone by the time he was 2, and by 8 he had traded Brooklyn's Red Hook projects for Baltimore. Surrounded by the constant threats of violence and poverty, he learned a brutal lesson before he was even a man. Every single dollar was a fight for survival. His 2021 memoir titled Where Tomorrows Aren't Promised painfully recounts the stark realities of a childhood where nothing was guaranteed. Those formative years cemented a cautious financial worldview, with the basketball court becoming his only sanctuary, leading him from Towson Catholic and Oak Hill Academy to a legendary championship at Syracuse. But the true measure of the man is revealed in how he transforms that carefully guarded wealth into a powerful force for good through the Carmelo Anthony Foundation. Established in 2005, the foundation targets underserved communities, forging partnerships like one with Feed the Children that has supported over 5,000 families in need. His generosity is delivered with the same deliberate precision he uses to manage his own finances, making every dollar count. Then there's Trey Burke. His net worth hovering around $20 million might not dominate headlines like some of his peers, but his method for managing money provides a masterclass in the art of disciplined wealth creation. Across an 11-season career that took him from the Utah Jazz to international courts, Burke secured between $25.4 and $26.3 million in salary. However, the defining chapter of his financial legacy was written in his very first year as a pro. With a $2.44 million salary in hand, he made a shocking choice. He put himself on a strict $5,000 monthly budget. This wasn't about self-punishment. It was a calculated act of self-preservation. Burke saw the battlefield of sudden wealth where so many young athletes fall. He immediately enlisted financial advisors to fortify his investments and built a spending structure designed to sidestep the traps that ensnare countless others. Even as his earnings soared past $25 million, Burke's lifestyle remained grounded, shunning extravagance in favor of securing his family's future. This deep-seated financial caution is a direct reflection of his working-class roots in Columbus, Ohio. He was raised by his father Benji, a former player and coach, and his mother Rhonda, who instilled in him a powerful sense of discipline from a young age. His father was his coach, guiding teams that included his childhood friend Jared Sullinger, teaching him not just the game, but the principles of life. What truly sets Burke apart, however, is his unwavering family-first doctrine. In a move of ultimate trust, he appointed his father and his cousin Alonzo as his agents in 2013. Keeping his financial circle tight and loyal, married to his high school sweetheart, Damon. Since 2018, their life is a testament to prioritizing family stability over the hollow spectacle of wealth. This philosophy guided his recent career pivot to international basketball signing with the Guangdong Southern Tigers in China in February of 2025. The move perfectly illustrates his strategy: seize financial opportunity while always grounding it in sound, practical judgment. While his name may not echo with the superstars, his financial playbook is a priceless guide for anyone navigating the treacherous waters of newfound fortune. And then there was Tim Duncan, a quiet storm on the court, with a net worth estimated between $100 million and $150 million. A fortune built not on flash but on one of the most brutally efficient and dominant careers the league has ever witnessed. During 19 seasons with the San Antonio Spurs, he amassed $242 million in salary, yet repeatedly took less money to forge championship dynasties. He slashed his pay from $21.15 million to $10.36 million in 2012, and again to $10 million in 2014, proving that for him, victory was worth more than millions. But Duncan's legendary thriftiness wasn't just confined to the negotiating table. A man who earned over $240 million was famous for driving an old Porsche 911 for years. He hunted for bulk deals at Costco and resided in a surprisingly modest home, a quiet reflection of his understated style that extended to endorsements. He had deals with Adidas and appeared in local grocery store commercials with his teammates, but he consistently sidestepped the massive campaigns that didn't fit his quiet nature. Even after a move to Nike, he never chased the vanity of a signature shoe-choosing substance over the relentless noise of marketing. This unshakable perspective was forged in his humble beginnings on St. Croix in the US Virgin Islands, a foundation that wealth could never crack. His journey began not on a polished court, but in the hard-working hands of Anguillan immigrants, a Mason father juggling jobs, and a midwife mother. He was meant to be a swimmer chasing the Olympic shadow of his sister Trisha until Hurricane Hugo obliterated the island's only pool in 1989, violently altering the course of his destiny. Then an even greater tragedy struck. His mother succumbed to breast cancer in 1990, the day before his 14th birthday, cementing a lifelong vow to honor family and education above all else. He fulfilled that solemn promise to his mother, Nikola Jokic, by graduating from Wake Forest with a degree in psychology. Nikola Jokic's net worth now hovers between $80 million and $120 million, a fortune amassed through historic NBA contracts and selective endorsement deals. But what truly defines the three-time MVP has nothing to do with his wealth. It's his profound disinterest in the very lifestyle it affords. In 2022, Jokic signed what was then the largest contract in NBA history, a 5-year, $276 million Supermax deal that will escalate to $62.8 million by the 2027 to 2028 season. He is eligible for another colossal $212 million extension in 2025. Yet despite these earth-shattering figures, Jokic lives a life indistinguishable from any small-town resident. The secret to understanding Jokic's radical approach to money lies in his summer ritual. He escapes to Sombor, Serbia to race harness horses, a childhood obsession that remains his true calling outside of basketball. He operates modest vehicles and completely avoids the spectacle of luxury, genuinely treating his NBA superstardom as merely a job that finances his one true passion. Tennis icon Novak Djokovic lauded Jokic's grounded spirit, observing that his entire world consists of only two things: horses and family. Teammates describe him as a minimalist who is punctual, casually dressed, and far more engaged in a team card game than in chasing individual awards. He trains daily out of a pure love for basketball, not for fame or public acclaim. This relaxed worldview was forged in Sombor, a quiet town in northern Serbia. He was born in the aftermath of the Yugoslav wars, growing up in a cramped two-bedroom apartment with his parents Branislav, an agricultural engineer, and Nikolina, along with his brothers Strahinda and Nianja. Family is still the unwavering core of Jokic's life and the primary focus of his spending. He married his high school sweetheart Natalia in 2020. They are raising their daughter Jenna and a second child. His brothers reside with him in Denver throughout the season, and their presence at his games is his ultimate source of motivation. He credits them for his happiness, viewing his monumental success as simply the means to support those he loves, while he pursues his passion for horses. And then there's Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry's fortune sits between $220 million and $240 million, establishing him as one of the wealthiest active players in basketball. Yet remarkably, when questioned about his financial status, Curry admits he doesn't keep close track of his fortune, revealing a profound detachment from wealth that is a hallmark of many profoundly successful individuals. Curry's current 4-year, $215.4 million contract will pay him an unbelievable $59.6 million for the 2025 to 2026 season, which stands as the highest single-season salary in the history of the NBA. His lifetime partnership with Under Armour, a deal potentially exceeding $1 billion that includes equity and royalties, has revolutionized both his wealth and the brand. With the Curry brand generating $150 to $200 million annually, the income is astronomical. Yet Curry's lifestyle choices remain incredibly grounded. He lives in a $30 to $31 million mansion in Atherton, California. While lavish by any normal measure, it is almost understated for America's most affluent zip code, where the median home value surpasses $10 million. The 18,000 square foot home on 1.5 acres is designed for comfort, not for ostentatious display. Curry's daily routines only reinforce his down-to-earth nature. He is often seen biking around his neighborhood and embracing a simple family life with his wife Asia and their 4 children. Asked to judge his own spending habits, he describes himself as prudent but not restrictive, a middle ground that avoids extravagance while ensuring he invests wisely for the future. Curry's core values were instilled during his childhood in Charlotte, North Carolina, where his father Dell played for the Hornets. His mother Sonia, a former volleyball player, and Dell grounded him in Christian faith, a powerful work ethic and family ties that remain the pillars of his identity. He was consistently undersized and overlooked as a youth, a journey that forged a deep humility that endures despite his historic success. Through the Eat, Play Foundation with Aisha, Curry has dedicated $50 million to Oakland Schools for Literacy, nutrition and recreational programs personally covering all administrative costs so that every dollar donated goes directly to the students. His Christian faith champions service over accumulation, driving him to use his success as a vehicle for positive change rather than for personal aggrandizement. Next, Andrew Bogut. Andrew Bogut's net worth is estimated between $40 million and $50 million built over a 14-season NBA career and fortified by smart investments after retirement. But the figure itself is not the real story. It's the meticulous way Bogut has managed every single dollar. After securing contracts worth over $118 million in NBA salaries, the real shock was how little Bogut actually claimed to have earned a mere $118,126. He built a mountain of wealth throughout his NBA tenure, securing colossal contracts with teams like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Golden State Warriors. His financial peak included a monumental 5-year, $60 million extension with the Bucks and a subsequent 3-year commitment, a $36 million pact with the Warriors that culminated in a 2015 NBA championship. Yet despite the astronomical income, his reputation for being incredibly frugal became the stuff of legend. Even after locking in that massive deal with the Warriors, he lived a life of striking modesty, scrutinizing every single dollar spent. In a moment of clarity in 2014, he admitted to himself he was clueless about finance and signed up for an online course to seize control of his wealth. That single decision triggered a fundamental transformation in his financial habits and investment philosophy. A spending diary he maintained for ESPN in 2015 laid bare his meticulous money-saving obsession, detailing everything from his eBay bargain hunting to the careful accounting of his coffee budget. But this wasn't a source of shame. It was a calculated strategy to guarantee his financial future over fleeting temporary luxuries. This ironclad financial discipline was forged in his childhood as the son of Croatian immigrants who settled in Melbourne. His parents, Miso, Mike and Anka, had escaped Yugoslavia in the 1970s. His father toiled as a mechanic while his mother worked as a nurse. Raised in the working-class suburbs of Mulgrave and Dandong, he learned early the profound value of relentless effort and prudent financial stewardship. Now in retirement, Bogut has channeled that same discipline into a portfolio of savvy investments. His holdings are diverse, with shares in the esports giant Cloud9, the Amazon-acquired PillPack, various real estate projects, and a range of Australian tech startups. He has also invested in the Sydney Kings, where he now leverages his basketball intellect and business sharp-wittedness as an assistant coach. $35 million barely scratches the surface of David West's extraordinary financial journey. What set him apart was his unwavering readiness to forfeit millions for his convictions. In the most telling example, he walked away from a $12.6 million contract with the Indiana Pacers, choosing instead to sign for the veterans minimum with teams chasing a title. Over 15 seasons, West banked $92,190,459 in NBA contracts, reaching his highest earning potential during his time with the New Orleans Hornets. His financial history boasted a 5-year, $45 million extension with the Hornets and a 3-year, $36.6 million agreement with the Pacers, cementing his status as a top-tier player. But the single decision that would come to define West's career came in 2015. He opted out of his $12.6 million deal with the Pacers to join the San Antonio Spurs for a mere $1.55 million. He made the same sacrifice in 2016 and 2017 for the Golden State Warriors, prioritizing the pursuit of a championship over the pursuit of profit. This deliberate choice to chase a ring for a fraction of his market value was the ultimate expression of his belief that some things are worth more than a paycheck. West's financial worldview is a direct reflection of his blue-collar roots and his deep-seated dedication to social justice. He was born to Amos and Harriet West and was brought up in Teaneck, New Jersey, before his family relocated to Garner, North Carolina. His time at Xavier University, where he excelled in communications and earned numerous academic awards, profoundly influenced his measured and principled approach to every major life choice. West's post-NBA investments, like his $250,000 stake in the African-focused clean energy company Zoetic Energy, highlight his drive to create meaningful change, not just financial gain. His investment strategy is a mirror image of his playing days. He always chose purpose over the highest possible payout. West's philanthropic work is a powerful extension of his values-driven use of wealth. His organization, the West Group, has provided scholarships to more than 400 underprivileged students in North Carolina. His impact is global, funding the restoration of basketball courts in Ghana, Senegal, and Gambia, and taking on speaking roles at the African Union. The true measure of West's character was revealed during his time in New Orleans, especially in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Deeply moved by the injustices laid bare by the catastrophe, he organized meal deliveries and aid for the hardest-hit communities, an experience that solidified his lifelong crusade for social equity and community empowerment. He and his wife Leslie, whom he married in 2008, have a daughter Deja and a son, David Benjamin. His parents had always taught him to chase his ambitions while keeping his feet firmly on the ground, a lesson that guided every basketball and financial decision he ever made. The story of Derrick Rose, whose net worth is estimated between $90 and $95 million, is one of a career that exploded early, but found its endurance through grit and reinvention. Rose's post-career life back in Chicago shows how an athlete can amass incredible wealth without ever losing touch with where he came from. Rose earned a staggering $166 million from his NBA contracts, supplemented by over $13 million from endorsements, including his lifetime contract with Adidas. The pinnacle was a 5-year, $94 million extension with the Chicago Bulls in 2011, a deal he signed right after his historic MVP season at just 22 years old. He became the youngest, most valuable player in the history of the league, a record that remains unbroken and at the time signaled the dawn of a new dynasty. However, his entire career trajectory was violently altered by a devastating ACL injury. In 2012, the first in a series of brutal setbacks that would have destroyed a lesser man. But instead of letting bitterness consume him, Rose reshaped his entire perspective on the game and on his life. While his later years saw him signing for minimum deals across several teams, his unwavering dedication and elite professionalism never once faltered through all the turmoil. The roar of the arena faded into a deliberate whisper. After walking away from the game in September of 2024, Derrick Rose vanished into the familiar quiet of his Chicago hometown. The city, however, refused to let its hero's legacy go unsung, officially naming January 4, 2025, Derrick Rose Day to honor his profound impact far beyond the court. His farewell wasn't a spectacle for the cameras. It was a pilgrimage back to his roots, choosing the hopeful faces in local schools and community centers over the glare of media spotlights. The superstar's famously modest lifestyle is a direct reflection of his grueling upbringing in Chicago's Englewood neighborhood, a world of harsh realities where he was shaped by his single mother, Brenda. In interviews, he often recounts tales of surviving on struggle meals, not for sympathy, but as a raw testament to resilience and a permanent link to his South Side origins, offering a powerful message to anyone facing their own impossible odds. His path from the legendary courts of Simeon Career Academy to a seismic season at the University of Memphis was the embodiment of the American dream, a rocket ride from the city's toughest streets to global stardom. But it was his unwavering spirit in the face of career-shattering adversity that ultimately revealed the true depth of his character far more than any early triumph. Today, committed to his fiancée, Elena Anderson, and raising their 3 children, his focus has shifted from championship rings to the unbreakable bonds of family. His life after basketball is a masterclass in quiet fulfillment, a choice to value personal peace over public applause. This deep-seated humility, a trait he carried even at the height of his fame, now defines him as a local often spotted in neighborhood spots around Chicago. He connects with people not as a distant icon, but as one of their own, a neighbor who once touched the sky and came back home. Rose's story is a powerful lesson in how the scars of a difficult youth can forge a lasting gratitude for life's simple joys, even when the fight for survival is long over.